I'm here to talk about how to learn a complete opera roll. Many operas are very long, and the rolls are also quite long. You cannot learn an opera roll overnight, although many have tried, and a few have been successful at it. However, I'm here to kind of break down the different types of research you need to be looking at and the resources you might want to think about before you open that score and try to learn the roll vocally and sing it. So say you get a role in a Mozart opera. There's a lot of information out there. First of all, the text. The text came first. Mozart got the text from his librettist, like a Da Ponte, and he then wrote the music. So these texts are very important. You need to make sure that if it's in a language that you do not speak, that you should be translating word for word every bit of the text. Not just your text, but everybody else's text, so you know what they're saying. If you've never pronounced this language before, you can also get online resources or speak to your coach about how to do the pronunciation. Many of these operas have been translated word for word and given an international phonetic alphabet sort of detailing by a guy named Nico Castel. And these resources are in your library. They are available to purchase online, and they're fantastic books, fantastic resources. They're not a substitute for a dictionary, but I say, do what you can to really learn that text. Say it over and over again. Once you've really looked at the text, then look at the dramatic situations that are involved in this libretto. So, for instance, if this piece is written about a certain time period, do your research about that time period. If it's based upon a play, or nowadays, movies or TV shows even have been turned into operas, watch those movies, read those plays, read the novel, read the short story it might be based on. Really get a sense of this source material. Once you've kind of moved beyond that, think about your character. What's the environment of the character? The relationship that the character has to everybody else on the stage? The obstacles that are being placed in front of that character? The objectives of the character. What does your character want? The tactics that your character is going to be using, and then sort of think about all of that in relationship to everybody else that's in the score. Finally, you're going to be cracking the score open, and it's not just one score. This is where it gets complicated because there are many editions. Just for Le Nozze di Figaro, there are multiple editions. We have the nice little G. Schirmer edition. We have the more expensive critical Bärenreiter edition. They're very different. Some people prefer the Bärenreiter, but actually, if this is one of your first roles and you're a student, you may want to look at maybe perhaps getting both or going to your library and seeing which ones they might have. You should also be looking at the orchestral score so that you can look at the orchestration of this role. What are you up against? For Mozart, typically it's 2 flutes, 2 clarinets, 2 oboes, 2 bassoons, 2 horns, 2 trumpets, and a whole slew of strings. That's a lot of people. So you need to really be looking at the full score, as we call it. Once you've done that, then you start to sing. Then you start to look at the vocal lines, and you start to learn the music for the opera roll. Once you've learned it completely, then you go to your coachings and to your lessons and have short-term and long-term goals in place, because you can't go to a lesson and sing the entire role of Susanna unless that lesson's going to be a long, long day. Those are my hints and sort of how I would break that down. The last thing would be probably to do a lot of listening. Listen to as many recordings as you possibly can that are available, and really listen before you watch. Just for Le Nozze di Figaro, I went into my library and I found 4 of my favorite Le Nozze di Figaro recordings. And, that's just a small sample of what's out there. So good luck, have fun, and go to the opera.